So, ladies and gents, let's talk about The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. Good movie, bad movie, good popcorn flick. I enjoyed this film. So, we're going to be reviewing it here today. Expect no spoilers at the start, then a little bit of warning, then we'll go into some spoilers. But hey, look, it's a Conjuring film. You kind of expect, some bits and pieces that are going to come out from this film. I tell you what. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. I never remember how to say her name. But anyway, these two absolutely excel in the role of the Warrens. They really do. They really, really do. This is not a great horror story. Right? It's just not. It's not an awesome, epic, scary horror story. There are better Conjuring movies for the horror narrative, right? But that's not strictly a bad thing. This is a really good story with horror elements, right? So these are our characters, the Warrens. These are the people that we grow to like during this movie. And of course, like the other movies, maybe, if you like them in those movies, whatever. But this movie does a really, really good job at crafting these characters specifically and making you like them. So when certain elements happen in this film to them, you do care. You do care. And you're not specifically scared of the supernatural element. Like, you're not scared. It's not a scary movie. You're not scared of the supernatural elements at all. But you're fearful for their safety. And that's good. So is it a great horror movie? No. But is it a good story with good horror elements? Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Now, of course, this is based on the Warrens. Basically, a specific story about Arnie. A guy who possessed, cursed, that sort of thing. It's difficult to go into without spoilers. But let's just say there's an exorcist at the start. Arnie gets involved and things go astray. He becomes the target of the malignant tumor of a demon. Whatever descriptive term you want to use. And then from there, we enter quite an expansive story. We start discussing satanic cults, and we start talking about other cases that have occurred, and the greater elements at play here. Is it possession? Is it a curse? What's going on? Who's behind it? And then, of course, the Warrens come to the conclusion of it all to save the day. As we know that they will, because obviously they will. This is a good film. It's not a great film. It's a good popcorn flick. I watched it today on a Sunday. I just sat here, watched it with with a bit of food, bit of drink. And it was fine. It's inoffensive. It's not scary, but it's also not terrible. It's a good popcorn flick. I like these movies. They have their place. Would I waste money going out to see it? Would I see that money as a waste going to see this in the cinema, the theatres? No, not really. I think some of this could have looked better on the big screen. I got a screener, so I just watched it on this this sort of 32-inch monitor thing. Fairly high res, but would it look better on a big screen? Yeah, like 100%. 100%. Sound design was pretty good. It does rely somewhat on jump scares, but not nearly as much as you would think. Which is good. I'm sick of bloody jump scares. I'm sick to the back teeth of jump scares. Do characters do dumb stuff? Yeah, sort of. Sort of. I always hate it when a character is pinned down. They're there. They're ready to be the prey for some predator. Right? And then a character gets the upper hand on this predator. They're no longer the prey. They wound the predator, but then they run off. And you're just like, what are you doing? You had an implement. You hit them. And then you ran off. No, you wouldn't do that. You'd continuously bash them over the head until their brains spilled out. But that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Now, from a technical perspective, there is some awful green screen and soundstage sets in this. Like, really, really bad. There's a scene where they sort of run off a cliff and you're like, ooh, compositing. Like, it just looks terrible. Looks real bad. One thing I did like, they come up to a corpse that has been in the water for a really long time. And I was thinking to myself, they're going to get this wrong. They're going to get this wrong. Because a body that's been in the water for a really long time doesn't look like a body much anymore. Like, it's quite bloated, disgusting. Like, the skin's all puffy. It's quite horrendous. a body that's been in the water for a long time. It looks awful. But they did it. They actually did it right. So I commend them on their makeup effects and their what little research that they did. Like, it actually did come out pretty well in that regard. Overall, look, it's a good story. It's a good story about the Warrens and their case files of Arnie and that situation that befell him, right? And the sort of methodology behind it, what was causing it. And does it come to a satisfying conclusion? Yes and no. It's fine. But I really like these two people. These two people are great. They're really good in the role of the Warrens. Patrick Wilson is really good. He's really good. And Vera's great in this. And she's such an underused actress in other things, I think. So in this, like, it's a joy to see them having fun in characters that they clearly know. And they really clearly like playing them. Right? They keep coming back for them. Outside of, obviously, the money that they're being offered. They clearly like playing them because you can tell. You can tell they're having fun. And I think they really do embody those characters to a really high degree. So, can I recommend it? Yeah, sort of. Under the proviso that it's not a scary film. Like, it's just not. There's some interesting effects here and there. It's all pretty paint by numbers. It's pretty damn predictable. Like, I was even guessing lines that were going to come up. You know, like someone says along the line of, oh, she thinks our love is a weakness. And I'm like, but it's not, it's our strength. Oh, our love is our strength. And I'm like, hey, predictable dialogue. But it's not bad. It's not bad. Just don't go into it expecting an Oscar performance. You know, go into it expecting, drink a few beers, enjoy the film, have a laugh. It's one of them. It's a good film, inoffensive. So that's my non-spoiler review. If you are new here, you stayed this long, and you don't want to continue on with spoilers, hit subscribe, hit that like button. You stayed enough. You stayed long enough. Guys, you clearly like the content. Cheers. But let's, and any returning subscriber that's going to leave now, we'll just talk about the spoilers, yeah? But hit that like button. So, Arnie becomes the focus of a curse. And basically, it's a satanic cult that's behind it. I like that element. I don't think that's that bad. I think that's a pretty alright element to go down. But there's just nothing scary about it. There's nothing scary about this film at all. But I really like the fact that they didn't rely on jump scares. Now, Arnie has to basically commit suicide to complete the curse, the ritual, which gives a demon a soul, and then allows this satanic cultist something, I guess. I don't know what they're getting out of it. They never really explain that. But there's some really predictable characters in this. I'm looking. Who's the actor that was in this? Because he was pretty decent. Josh Noble. He's pretty decent in this. I quite liked him in this. Josh Noble plays like an elderly priest that had fought the satanic cultist before and is basically the father of the big bad woman that's controlling it all. That's right, ladies and gents. It's a satanic woman cultist thing that is behind it all in this film. It's fine. Like, it's just fine. There's a scene in a morgue where like some big dead guy gets up from the table and runs at them, and I'm like, oh yeah, not bad, not bad, not great, but not bad. It's fine. It's a step up from The Nun and all that kind of trash. You know, it's not a terrible film. It's just not great. That's the problem. It's just not great, and it's not a particularly great horror film in and unto itself. It rounds itself out nicely. It's what you expect at the end. Everyone saves the day, and they're fine. But there's this really dumb scene. Again, dumb characters doing dumb things. Vera's character, right? To break the curse, they have to break the altar of which the satanic cultist has been performing the ritual, right? And it's this slab of rock laid on a centerpiece. So laws of physics apply here. Vera runs up to it. It's like, oh, I've got to break it. And she's trying to lift it over from the middle. Lift it up and over. No, Vera. Run round to one side and just tip it up. Laws of physics, mate. Laws of physics. What are you doing? And I'm just sat there going like, you plum. You absolute idiot. Like, what are you doing? Hated it. I hated that so much. And then again, she's the character who boss Satan lady's got a knife to her eye, and she bashes her over the head with a stone that she finds, and then runs off. And I'm like, no, love, you bash her in the head until her brains come out. What are you doing? Dumb characters do dumb things in horror movies all the time. You have to give it somewhat of a pass. But it's not a bad film. Not a great horror movie. It's not a bad film. Let me know what you think. Cheers.